The following program is rated TVMA. This program may contain strong opinions, explicit language, and possible adult themes. The opinions expressed are not necessarily those of the Smoke Free Radio Network or its affiliates. This program is meant for mature adult audience. Viewer and listener discretion is advised.
That was interesting.
Hey everybody, welcome to another Vaping and the Mic. It's a Thursday, we're all kind of sitting back and figuring out what we're doing during the week. I don't have anybody, any kind of guest this week. I don't have anybody on the phone. I'm not doing any kind of live because there has been something, and it's the reason that I turned around and I labeled this show We Need to Talk. And the thing is, we need to talk not only amongst ourselves as vapors, we need to talk to the general public, because I truly don't think they have a good clue of what is going on out there. Patrick, I think all of us at one point in time or another have used the F-bomb and a bunch of other things right along with it. So, yeah. The people that know me, that are around me in my everyday kind of life, know that my kids are not immune to any kind of language. They grew up with it. Our golden rule is a funny kind of thing. Guys, I'm glad to see that people are here. What I want to talk about, and what has just absolutely been on my mind, I've spoken with Bill Tarling about this. I've spoken with Kevin Crowley about it. I broached the subject with other people as I've been going along. Not only about getting out and being able to talk to people, getting outside of this circle of vapors that we all have, so that we're not all talking in the same sandbox. But how do we get out of this sandbox and talk to other people? But the one thing this week that has just been pushing me over the edge, it's flavor bans. And I started to really think about it, and I started to crunch the numbers, and the more that I really started to crunch the numbers, the more it scared the hell out of me. Just the realism of what is happening. And Patrick, I don't blame you. I would have turned that counter off a long time myself. So here's what I'm going to do. I want to talk to you about what's been happening in California. And we're going to talk not only about, we're going to try to leave the MSA and the politics and a lot of the other things that are typically associated, wrapped up with it. All I want to do is talk about raw numbers, because people are always interested in a statistic of some kind, just raw numbers. So here's what it is. We all know, hands down, that San Francisco did their flavor ban, right? It is hands down. They did it. They got away with it. And I'm trying to get my mouse to work politely. The flavor ban hit San Francisco. Is it echoing, dude? I don't even have my earphones on, so I can't really tell. The flavor ban hit San Francisco. Now, San Francisco has a population of 870,000 some odd people, right? So the flavor ban affected 870,000 people. And we also know that right behind it went San Mateo. And San Mateo has a general population of 103,000. Now, keep in mind, I understand this is men, women, children, the whole 9 yards. General population. Right behind San Mateo and getting ready, well, this one actually already did pass, Oakland. Oakland has 420,000 people. General population, 420,000 people. Now, what they're talking about next is Sacramento. And Sacramento itself has 495,000 people in it. So, if we actually added all this up, we have a general population of 1,890,085 people. Now I pulled those stats off of the web just in the last general consensus, and this is by no means, I mean, come on. When was the last time that the government actually had the true numbers of anything? So these numbers are just their consensus numbers. They're saying, okay, here's what we believe is in this area, in this city right now. So 1,890,000 people in those cities alone, because people are looking at Sacramento right now and saying it is more than likely a foregone conclusion that it's going to fall, it's going to go away, and it's a done deal. So they're saying Sacramento is just going to be out the door. So 1,890,000 people are affected by a flavor ban. And that's 4 cities. Four cities affected by a flavor ban. So I'm like, okay, let's break that number down a little bit more. And let's take a serious look at what is really happening. Now, most of us can agree that 15% of a population are people who still smoke or use tobacco or anything like that. So 15%, and again, we could sit and argue the 15% all day long. I'm just using it as a round number. Some would say it's a little bit lower. Some would say it's as high as 23%. I'm just trying to hit the board at 15 to give you an idea of what's really going on. 15% of that number, folks, is 283,000 people that no longer have access or local access to a vapor product. In 4 cities, 283,000 people. 283,000 people no longer have access to be able to drive around the corner and pick up anything that looks like a vapor product. Yet they can go around the corner to their local convenience store, the gas station, whatever store, and pick up a pack of smokes, which is exactly what the state wants you to do for taxation and all that. But taxation is not my thing, not right now. 283,000 people in 4 cities no longer have local access to a vapor product. And this was enacted by a few people. It was voted on. They voted on it. And they said, this few group of people voted. City councils, things like that. San Francisco got the referendum, but that was just a flaming defeat from the word go. It was horrible. So we've got this elected body of a few people really calling the shots for 289,000 people. It really got me thinking about everything. the elected officials, and they basically, and I mean this politely and yet not politely, they turn around and they have told these 283,000 people, we would rather have you smoke and possibly die than have access to vapor products. Hands down, that's exactly what they are saying. We don't want you to have access to flavored vapor products. We would rather have you smoke and more than likely die. Elected officials saying to 250,000 people plus, screw you, die. Now, I don't know about anybody else, but that scared the hell out of me when I started to really think about this, because it's exactly what they're saying. They don't want you to have access to anything remotely that looks anything like any vapor product. Nothing. They don't want you going around the corner and picking up your bottle of e-liquid. They don't want you going around the corner and getting your... they don't want you to go get your cotton, your batteries. Well, those are okay. I take that back. It's the flavored e-liquid. So they don't want you going around the corner to pick up anything that looks like a bottle that you can vape. But they do want you to go back and get a pack of smokes. And I was like, okay, yeah, you're right, Patrick. It was a voter initiative. And the voters in San Francisco overwhelmingly gave the rest of everybody the finger. But I don't believe that was the same for San Mateo or Oakland or Sacramento or a lot of other people. A lot of those other places have turned around by council meetings, by the city elected officials, mayors, who knows what, and said, die. We'd rather have you go back and buy a pack of cigarettes. So if I continue on this little narrative of mine, and I say, let's take a look at what happens, because they're saying that the next part of this is going to be Los Angeles. Okay. So they're saying Los Angeles is going to be the next one to come up and more than likely be hit with the possibility of a flavor ban. Now, if Los Angeles falls into line behind all of this, that 15% of people comes out to 862,000 people. 862,000 people. That's 15% of the populace between those cities. That's huge. That's almost 1 million people that are going to not have the capability to go to a local area and buy vaping products. Flavored vaping products. See, I get so ticked off that it's just, I have to remind myself, they are talking about a flavor ban that is only for e-liquid. But they still want you to go around the corner and pick up a pack of smoke so that they can get the taxation. And I know I said I would try not to. But why else would they tell you? They've come around, and we could get into the statistics to turn around and say, look, they're saying save the kids this, and it's detrimental for the kids that, and all kinds of other things. But the truth is, the CDC came out with a report that says vaping among younger people has declined, and there is no epidemic. None. One of the attorney generals, I believe, and if I'm not mistaken, it was Iowa, but one of the attorney generals turned around and said, if you believe that there is a teen vaping epidemic, you are sadly mistaken. Patrick, we're going to talk about, we might as well talk about the American Cancer Society. The American Cancer Society said that vaping is less harmful than combustible cigarettes. And yet, they have turned around and their spokesman threw the vaping industry under the bus, saying we the American Cancer Society is in favor of flavor bans. Period. They don't care. They do not care. So yeah, the ACS is that wonderful thing. Fig chimes in here in the chat and he says $287 per tax per pack. But keep in mind there's a tremendous amount of money tied to the demise of smokers. Boy, Fig, you are so awesomely correct that it's not even funny. The smoker decline is leading to rampant fear by many different governments in different states because of money. It comes down to money. Every single time. It's not about the kids. Anyhow, I want to point something out to you. And this last one, what I was saying, just in Los Angeles. If Los Angeles falls in line, that's 862,000 people that will not have a local access to flavored e-liquid at all. They won't be able to buy it anywhere near them. They'll have to go to another city, another who knows what, order it online. But they can't just go around the corner and pick it up. But they can go around the corner and pick up a pack of smokes. I love that. Let's not even be facetious about that. That's just nothing but bullshit. Anyhow, what I want to draw people's attention to, this almost happened. New York State, not just a city in New York, the state of New York wanted to turn around and do a flavor ban for the entire state. And I'm like, you have got to be kidding. And there was a lot of uproar about it. And truthfully, for the longest time, nobody knew if it was going to pass and become law or not. New York State Vapor Association turned around and put up a hell of a fight. There was a lot of people that banded together, and they came together to make sure that New York did not enact a flavor ban. But if they had, that 15% number for New York would have been 2,977,000 and some odd people. Almost 3 million people could not drive around the corner and pick up a bottle of juice. So tell me that anybody that is left out there thinking can honestly say the government doesn't want you driven hard back to vaping. They don't want you going anywhere near. They want you to leave vaping. I apologize. See, this has got me so stirred up. It irritates the hell out of me. And I know I'm not the only one. Almost 3 million people couldn't turn around and do this. Or, I take that back, they could vape, but they can't go to the store in New York and buy this. Yeah, Fig, it was horrendously close to passing in New York. And it would have affected 2,977,000 people. Rod, honest to God, I appreciate that. I truly do. My wife told me it was right up my alley. I have found that I've fallen in love with being able to connect with people, to be able to talk to people. Now I know what you guys that you are on radio all the time. I've caught a little bit of that bug because I thoroughly enjoy it. But I appreciate that. See, this gets me because I don't know if people, and even on the replay, the people that are listening to this, and I'm going to back up and I'm going to hit this again. If Los Angeles falls behind and Sacramento and the other places that already have the vapor product flavor ban in place, 862,000 people in California won't be able to buy liquid locally. 862,000 people. And if New York would have enacted it, 2,977,000. That blows my mind. More than almost 3 million people could not. If you lived in the middle of the New York, what the hell are you going to do? You have nowhere to go. You can't drive down the street to your local vape shop because, honest to God, we all know, if a flavor ban hits a state like that, there will be no vape shop. None. Every vape shop would go out of business because they cannot continue to make a living selling straight tobacco, e-juice, and hardware. They can't do it. They can't make a living doing that. So now, once you enact that flavor ban, let's say that New York actually did it, it's gone. They'll wipe out, I don't know how many hundreds of stores, and I don't know how many thousands of jobs. And if I were talking to Michael Frennerer, I know that he would turn around and be able to tell me how much in taxation and everything else would have been lost, because I know that he was very much keeping track of all of that. Rod, I'm just now getting back in, looking at here. Dude, I can't even go anywhere near professional, but I appreciate it. It comes from just being able, I go out and I do public speaking and things like that, but I love it. And I'm slowly building on my setup to work here. I keep checking out what Scotty has in his setup, and I keep talking to different people and saying, okay, yeah, you're right, Fig. You're right. Who's going to drive from the middle of New York to Pennsylvania? Oh, where they have a 40% tax. Nobody. Who's going to drive from the middle of New York over to New Hampshire, Connecticut, Massachusetts? Nobody. Nobody's going to. But you probably get some people that might be bootlegging, but nobody's going to do it. It's just, it is one of those things that absolutely kills me. Yeah. Fig, I'll tell you something, honest to God. Everybody says online. They just passed the capability for states to begin to collect taxation from online sales. And I know that that's going to become enforced before very long. It's going to happen. And the people that don't have the capability to collect taxes, they're going to go out of business. And the people that do collect taxes, they're going to have to raise their prices in order to compensate, for having to mail all of this stuff out. Yeah, how many small stores? Me. How many people like me, or honestly, anybody that's smaller in a manufacturer, how many of those people are going to be able to sell online, collect the taxes, and then every month remit those taxes back to the state? I can't afford it. There's no way in hell that I could do that. Maybe I could, but I seriously doubt it. And the headache that would go with it would kill me. Absolutely kill me. Yeah, you're right, Fig. It's horrible. Bill Tarling comes in and he says, don't forget that you can also claim e-liquids are a tobacco product and may therefore not be allowed to ship via postal. Yeah, that's the next thing that's going to happen. But for right now, we're not even going to talk about shipping. We're not even going to talk about any of that. Just for a minute, I am going to take just a moment and hit our sponsors page, because these are the people that are helping pay the bills to keep everything moving. So if you would, take a minute, check our sponsorship out.
Hey now, this is Dimitri with Smoke Free Radio reminding you to please show some love to our wonderful sponsors. Without them, there would be no Smoke Free Radio, and they are as follows. All the way from Florida, Moon Mountain Vapor, with locations in Florida, and their liquid available for wholesale and retail, moonmountainvapor.com. Some of the best custards and tobaccos on the market from the Brickwills Vaping Company. The lovely Shell with a vapor bar, locations in Texas, Virginia, and West Virginia. And of course online at thevaporbar.com. And who says you can't have award-winning e-liquid without cartoon characters? That's exactly what you're going to get at theplumeroom.com. And finally, of course, the Vaping Advocate magazine that has generously provided the telephone lines for you to communicate with us. Thank you for your support. And finally, for you, the listener, don't forget to check out the coupons and codes page on Smoke Free Radio. Pick up some e-liquid and save some money. From all of us here at Smoke Free Radio, thank you for your continued support.
Those are our sponsors that help us out tremendously by taking care and paying the bills. Dimitri does a wonderful job working with those people. And again, I need to take time to say thank you to Dimitri for giving me a spot on the Smoke Free Radio network. It is awesome. Came about kind of by a fluke. Listening to music. Fig dancing. Fig. Yeah, but Rod. Come on, Rod. Fig's not the one that went streaking through the parking lot for advocacy, dude. Right? I heard about that, and I still just blows my mind. We're going to move into something that I need people to be seriously aware of, and it is one of the bigger driving forces. Everything that I've gotten to about the flavor ban so far is to gear you up for something that does seriously have something more of merit than I can even begin to tell you. All of you by now have heard of this person. I'll be polite because he's an elected official. It's Senator Dick Durbin. And Senator Durbin wants to put a bill into the Senate. He's got some other Republican co-sponsor. I don't even know her name, and frankly, I don't give a damn. Dick Durbin wants to turn around, and he called it Stopping Appealing Flavors in E-Cigarettes for Kids. Safe Kids. Here we go again. Save the kids. What the hell is up with that? Save the kids. It'll place a strong restriction on... You know something? Dick Durbin is getting all of his information from the Tobacco-Free Kids campaign garbage crap. But here's one that will really, and I don't often read things verbatim, but this one, you've got to just bear with me. This is a quote from Dick Durbin. We've made great progress in convincing kids not to start smoking cigarettes. They know that cigarettes kill, and that nowadays it's hard to find some place where smoking cigarettes is even allowed. Okay, I'm glad. Here's the part that gets me. But I'm convinced that e-cigarettes represent the reinvention of smoking, cooked up by big tobacco to hook a new generation. Unfortunately, kids don't understand that e-cigarettes are highly addictive, harmful to their developing brains, and can lead to a lifetime of tobacco addiction. These products, especially flavors that shamelessly appeal to kids, are doing more harm than good. That statement from this senator kills me. Absolutely kills me. Unfortunately, kids don't understand that e-cigarettes are highly addictive, harmful, and can lead to a lifetime of tobacco addiction. We are not tobacco. E-liquid is not tobacco. Does it have nicotine? Yes. If it has it in the bottle, it's printed right on the damn thing. Dick Durbin wants to put that into the Senate for a vote. He wants people to turn around and vote for this bill. So what does his bill actually say? Well, I'll show you what it says. This is what his kids' crap bill. He wants to place strong restrictions on e-cigarette flavorings. The bill would generally restrict flavored e-cigarette products, but allow manufacturers 1 year to prove to the Food and Drug Administration that their e-cigarette flavorings meet 3 criteria. If companies can prove, again, I love his wording, if companies can prove that e-cigarette flavors meet these 3 criteria, they can remain on the market. Number 1, help adults quit smoking. We need to be able to prove that. Number 2, do not increase youth initiation of nicotine or tobacco products. And he wants that to be proven. And 3, do not increase the risk of harm to the person using the flavor. He wants these 3 criteria to be proven so that you can stay on the market. And he wants you to do it in a single year. He doesn't want to give you any more time than that. He wants you to take these 3 things and prove. How are... This is the whole point of this little person's whole gambit. The proposed bill would give vape manufacturers a year to hand over evidence that their flavorings are safe, that they help adults kick their cigarette habit, and that they don't tempt kids. Now, you know it, and I know it. Senator Durbin is 100% aware his bill is setting up the industry for failure to provide that proof. Durbin wants to take everything and cram it through in just one way and say, the rest of you don't matter. 15% of that. Okay, now he's talking about if this were to go through the Senate and through the Congress, and all of us know that it probably wouldn't make it through Congress. I know it would have a hell of a time. But let's just, for shits and grins, let's say that it actually did. Do you know what that would look like? The total number of people that Senator Dick Durbin wants to continue smoking, the high probability of death, 15% nationwide is 49 million people. 49 million people that he just gave the finger to. Senator Durbin is giving the finger to 49 million people and saying, you can't have flavored e-liquid at all. Ever. Prohibition. Prohibition, pure and simple. Reminds me that I found, I'm going to throw this in, if I can actually find it. I turned around and I just happened to be watching a movie. And I don't even know if I'll be able to find the media file in time, but I just happened to be watching a movie that had a talk or a little slant about prohibition. And I've got to scale this back up because I didn't really plan on putting this in here, but I'm going to throw this in here. The movie was The Untouchables. If you remember that, it was back in the 80s. It was Kevin Costner and Sean Connery, and it talked about prohibition and Al Capone and all of the stuff that they had to go through and do that. And this was the very opening clip from that movie talking about prohibition and saying it created rival gangs, it created the underground, it created a city at war. The time of Al Capone, all because of prohibition. Now, I don't know about you folks, but I'm very much believing that if Senator Durbin actually has the capability to turn around and say to 49 million people across the U.S., you can't have that. I think that we're going to come back and see something that is very, very similar. You're right, Bill Tarling. It is something that Durbin knows. He's asking for information that he knows can't be proven. And that's why he is wording his document, if I want to call it that, a bill, to be able to do just that. He does not want the vaping industry to be able to pass anything. Like, not at all. He doesn't care. He'd rather have 49 million people across the U.S. go back to smoking. That way they can have their taxation. It is the one thing that scared the hell out of me. I'm going to put up this piece, the 49 million people, just so people can have a little bit of a better idea and a better understanding. Let's just say we took 49 million people and put it into something that looks like this. It would go like this. The entire states of Oregon, Oklahoma, Connecticut, Iowa, Utah, Arkansas, Nevada, Mississippi, Kansas, New Mexico, Nebraska, West Virginia, Idaho, Hawaii, New Hampshire, Maine, Rhode Island, Montana, Delaware, South Dakota, North Dakota, Alaska, the District of Columbia, Vermont, and Wyoming. It, in effect, Dick Durbin is telling the populace, the entire populace, of all of these states, if we were to just combine all the people that he's giving the finger to, it would make a map that looks just like this. He would tell all the people that in all of those states, guess what? Screw you, smoke, and die. We don't want you to be able to get your flavored e-liquid, but we do want you to be able to go around the corner to your local little convenience store and buy a pack of cigarettes. So, do I care about your health? No, I do not. I don't care about your health. I want you to go back around the corner and buy a pack of cigarettes and die. 49 million people, if he gets his way. This is what flavor ban is going to do. This is what started to scare the hell out of me when I started to really look at what was going on and why. Here's the absolute shitty part of that. These are all, with the exception of San Francisco, these are all enacted by elected officials. All of them. One man, Dick Durbin. When people say that one man can't make a difference, really? Dick Durbin's going to try to screw you out of your flavors. And me, and every other vapor. He's going to try to screw everybody that vapes. One man. So, can one person make a difference in all of this? Bet your ass they can. But it's going to take all of us. We need to talk. And we need to do it to the people that are on the outside of our sandbox. And I know that that's preaching to the choir in all of us. We all need to stop and find one person. Could you imagine? Just imagine if we went back to a grassroots kind of thing and we went out and found one non-vapor, a smoker, who actually might think about stopping smoking. Could you imagine if everybody found just one, and then told him how bad that Dick Durbin wants to screw them? Imagine what would happen. I don't think Mr. Durbin would be in office much longer. I really don't. Yeah, Jerry, I'll tell you what, the Julian Assange thing, it's ironic that most people have either forgotten about it or they have become tone deaf to that entire thing, simply because it has not been in the main public eye. It's like, and I apologize, can't think of his name, the whistleblower that fled to Russia for fear of his life. We need to talk. And we need to talk to a lot of people, and we need to let them know what's happening in their voting world. Okay, because this is going to roll across the U.S. Other people have said it. Other people, Fig has said it. I don't know how many other people have said the very same thing. The flavor ban is going to roll across the U.S. Hands down, it's going to happen, and we need to be prepared for it. There's nobody else out there that has a passion that cares for flavor in e-liquid, in our juice. Nobody else has the passion for it except the people that vape. Because face it, the people that don't vape have no idea. None. They don't know. And they don't know because we're not talking to them, or we're not doing a very good job at it. We're trying, but we need to try a lot harder. And I've looked at different places. I've looked online. I've seen people going, okay, you know what? There's vodka that has candy cake and cotton candy and all these flavors, and I understand. I get it. But that's over there, and we're over here, and we really need to come together and do more for the vaping industry. Now, I'm not going to rant and bitch about that. My whole point for this evening was to talk about the flavor ban. And again, if Durbin has his way, it is going to turn around and be 49 million people not having any access to flavored e-liquid. And I know, beyond a shadow of a doubt, we turn around and say, well, DIY. The people that are manufacturers know how to DIY. But try to get somebody like my mom. Try to get somebody that's 74, that just started vaping 11 months ago, quit cigarettes. She's not going to DIY. The people that come in and they've got this little tank and they come in and get their coils and their juice, they're not going to DIY. That guy driving the Hummer or the big Blazer or the Cadillac, they're not going to DIY. They're not going to turn around and take the time. Bill, people outside our sandbox here vaping. It is true, Bill. And he brings up, honestly, an excellent point. Many of the people that are outside of our sandbox have a lot of poor, really poor information because they've been lied to. The other people don't have to tell the truth. They don't have to turn around. They have no restrictions. They can make up all of their phony arguments. They can come across and say it's bad for your health no matter what. And they don't have to prove anything. But we do. We have to prove it. Yeah, Bill, you and I have talked about that, and that's exactly what's going to happen, and that's what I was saying about New York. The flavor ban were to hit an entire state, that entire state's vaping community is gone. It's history. It's going to go out the window like there's no tomorrow. It's pretty bad. At any rate, I want people to stop and think. Dick Durbin, he wants to tell 49 million people, which should be all of these states, the collective people in all of these states, that kind of population. He wants to tell that many Americans, grow screw yourself, smoke, and die. And he doesn't care about you or me or anybody else. All he cares about is his taxation and what he can get out of it. It's a sad state of affairs when we can get one guy, one senator. Bill, I agree. It might take 2 years to pass a law, but you know what? If that would actually go through, it would be ramrodded so quickly when they have their backroom meetings and they say, oh, hey, look, we can get our MSA money and get all of our stuff if we just ban flavors. We can have all of our money back for the states, and that's a good thing for them. They don't care. Flavor bans are going to roll into a town near you. When everybody stopped and they were looking at T21, tobacco 21, raising the age from 18 to 21, a lot of people thought that it wouldn't gain any traction, that it wouldn't go anywhere. It's not going to hit my place. It's not going to come near me. I dare you to turn around in too many states and say, well, it's never passed here. Just in Ohio, around me, it started out, and Bill Tarling, he's up in Canada. He pointed out that a city near me called Akron, which is only about 45 minutes away, they were getting ready to do that. And James Jarvis from the Ohio Vapor Trade Association drove up, and they gave him so little time and ridiculed the hell out of him when he showed up to talk for saving the age to 18. When he went up to say 21 is not it, don't do it, they gave him very little time, ridiculed the hell out of him. Because they don't care. That's what I'm saying. The elected officials are in there. And now we got Senator Dick Durbin that wants to go ahead and put his stuff through. It's going to happen. It's going to come around. And we all need to be able to turn around and talk to somebody. Anybody. Grab your neighbor. Grab the person at the grocery store and say, hey, did you know? I mean, we've all got a friend or two that we can stop and actually speak with. I'm going to highly suggest that we do whenever we can. At any rate, I'm going to wrap it up for the evening. There is tonight a special edition of the Smokers Show It is with Mr. Dimitri, Mr. Phil. The Smoker Show at 9 o'clock. You can go to the Smoke Free Radio and listen to it, or you can join them on YouTube /P Basardo. That's Phil's sign on YouTube. But please, these guys have been on the road. They're just back from China. They have been on the go for a while. And they're taking the time to bring you some new information, new products, a lot of buzz, and talk about their trip. So please, if you can, join them tonight, 9 o'clock. You can watch them live on YouTube. Yep, in just a little over an hour. Folks, I am glad that you took time to stop and check things out this evening. I appreciate it. Next week we'll more than likely be talking again with another shop, because we've got to continue finding out who is going to be better in our poll, whether it is going to be Snoop Dogg or Steven Tyler. So far, Snoop Dogg's running away with the whole thing. But in the meantime, think about what you might be able to do to help stop a flavor ban. Stop in, talk to people at the shop. Say, hey, I heard this. Get in touch with somebody, and they'll be glad to send you information. Guys, I appreciate you taking time to stop. For the people that are on the replay, if you need information, I am on Facebook. People can they'll point you to where I am. Get in touch with me. Get in touch with, there's a wonderful site that Bill Tarling runs called Vape Distortion. Yeah, a lot of this information is right on Vape Distortion, but get in touch with somebody. Talk to them about flavor bans, because Dick Durbin, he gets his way. It's 49 million Americans. The 15% of people that smoke won't have access to a vapor product. And Senator Dick Durbin doesn't care. Anyhow, folks, I appreciate your time tonight. I'm looking forward to catching up with you again next week, 7 p.m. on the Smoke Free Radio Network, Vaping in the Mic. Until then, have a great night.